So students of class 7, the same lesson, reading Swami and friends, but from the grammar check section. Here we are having principal and dependent clauses. Principal, that doesn't take any help to express its meaning, and dependent, that means that it depends upon the main clause to express its meanings. So remember, first point, a clause is a group of related words. So clause is what? A group of related words in a sentence, which unlike a phrase, it is not like a phrase in what? Phrase has what? Phrase doesn't have that subject and a verb, but a clause has, contains a subject and a verb. Like a phrase, some clauses cannot exist on their own. So like a phrase, some clauses cannot exist on their own. So second one, every sentence must have a clause that expresses a complete thought on its own. This is called the principal or main clause of the sentence. Now principal clause definition is provided here. Every sentence must have a clause that expresses a complete thought on its own. This is called the principal or main clause of the sentence. Now examples. Swami, like Harry Potter, has been a beloved character ever since he was created. So just like Harry Potter, Swami has been a very beloved, very loved character uh, since it was created. So in this part we don't have any uh, conjunction, that's why no dependent part, so it is principal clause we have here. Number two, but as we go deeper, WS Swaminathan becomes a more complex soul. Here also WS Swaminathan becomes a more complex soul. This word is principal clause. Third point, a sentence that consists of only one principal clause and no dependent clause is called a simple sentence. So here you are getting the definition of a simple sentence that consists of only one principal clause and no dependent clause. So that is your simple sentence. Example, read the book to find out. Example 1. Number 4. A sentence that consists of two or more principal clauses joined together with coordinating conjunctions. So coordinating conjunctions are given here: but, or, yet, for, and, nor, so. So if any one of these we find in a sentence and the different parts are joined by these, then it is called a compound sentence. Example, Swami joins a protest mob, and is the coordinating conjunction here. He breaks a pane of the ventilator in the headmaster's office. So that but coordinating conjunction joins two principal clauses here, and that's why it is a compound sentence. Number 2, Swami is distraught when his friends mock him, but he is consoled. Here again, but you find it joins the two parts, so this is compound sentence. So up to here we the things we have discussed, and that is in this slide. Let us move on to the next slide. So here it is. The dependent clauses have been highlighted in the following examples. When the new boy in the class, this when, starting from when up to class, that is the Rajan, that part is your dependent part. So what it will give you, we will come to know here. So number 2, long before Diary of a Wimpy Kid burst into the literary scene, Swami's antics in middle school made children and adults roll with laughter. So here, long before Diary of a Wimpy Kid burst into the literary scene, up to here, this is dependent word, and the other is principal clause. So dependent clause, that means subordinate clause, and the principal clause give you what is here complex sentence. Number 3, he is a carefree soul who regrets not fetching a lemon his grandmother asks him to. So who regrets, that is your dependent word, and we have an example of complex sentence here. So definition here is provided: a sentence that consists of a principal clause and one or more dependent clauses is called a complex sentence. So definition of a complex sentence you find here. So that's it in this slide. Let us move on to the next. and see what is there. So here it is. Examples of principal clause and dependent clauses are given here. My father was a farm laborer. This is principal clause, and with it, dependent clause we can join. Who couldn't earn enough money to feed 8 children? So this will give you a complex sentence. Second one, finally he spoke again, as I turned to leave. So as I turned to leave, that part is dependent, and this is your principal clause. Together they will give you a complex sentence. Now this third one, he looked out over the field that was filled with the tiny green uh, bean plants. So from that, this part is dependent clause, this is your principal clause. Together again you get that complex sentence. I was almost back at my classroom door when I heard voices raised in anger. So this part dependent, this part principal. Together they give complex sentence. I stood up and faced him after I had a little pile of weeds between the rows. So dependent part, principal part, together they give you complex sentence. So this is it. In this presentation, you have the definitions of simple, complex, compound sentences, and the examples are also provided. So the things I hope are clear to you. And after this, we will have the exercises to do, and I will ask you to do them to see how much you have understood. So with that, I conclude this presentation. We'll come up with new things in the next presentation. Till that time, I would like to say you bye. Thank you.